Hey guys, how's it going? It's Philip with Trade Genius. In this video, I wanted to cover Veritaseum. Veritaseum is an ERC20 token, an Ethereum token. It was a project that ICO'd last year, and I get a lot of questions about what it is or how does it work. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to kind of explain what the parts are to Veritaseum, and then we'll go and look at the chart and kind of look at the strategy on investing in that. So what is it? Well, at the heart of Veritaseum is Veri, which is basically their platform, which is now coming out in beta. That stands for Veritaseum Autonomous Distributed Interactive Research. So that is the kind of the foray into what they're going to be doing. It'll be holding non-crypto assets as well as commodities, and could be distressed assets like real estate. So you can get into contracts that give you exposure to not only just crypto, like a crypto portfolio, but other commodities that normally would probably only be available to those on an institutional level. So it's really an interesting approach and kind of a niche market that I don't think they really have a competitor for in this space. So also too, it's going to cater to larger funds, hedge funds or family funds that would allow them to be risk on, for example, in like the crypto space without having to get fully committed to that exposure. So it's a pretty niche area that it's trying to fill. So the team's going to review the cryptocurrency baskets that they're going to offer, as well as other commodities and assets. And when they do that and they incorporate them into something that you can get exposure to, that's what they call veritizing an asset. So you would basically be able to go into the platform, get a contract. And so how you would do that is you would take a Veri token, Veritaseum. So the token itself is almost like a software license, but the rate at which they will be letting you use the system is if you use one Veri token, that would give you the equivalent of 100 Ethereum to put into the system to open up a basket of exposure to their assets. So now you don't have to use one Veri token; you can use a fraction of it. There will be a minimum that they are going to institute, but that's the rate: one Veri to 100 ETH of exposure. So you're going to give the Veri to the system. That's kind of like your entrance fee, and then you're going to take your Ethereum that you own and you're going to put that to work in a basket of exposure that they'll have. Okay, so that's basically how that works on the platform. The other part of that is you can also rent your tokens. So some people may not have gotten into the ICO. There's not a lot of supply left on the exchanges. It's actually kind of running out. So people may not want to go through the hassle of going to like Ether Delta or Hit BTC, which is the two exchanges that trade it. So they may want to just rent tokens. It's easier to rent tokens. So there's actually a facility that would allow you to put your Veri tokens out there for rent. And there's two kinds of rent. One is economic rent, meaning that it'll be you'll get a cut of the profit that's made on that exposure or that investment that they take your tokens to use it against. Or it's just a contract rent where you just establish a fixed fee, a fixed percentage, and they pay that to you. And actually they do have a beta interface. Let's switch over to that. So they have a beta interface here that actually gives you the interface. And you can see where on the left here, or I'm sorry, on the right here, you'd put in the amount of Veri you need, and then you set your return on investment, your ROI, the durations, and then how long it would expire before, or how long the offer is valid for before it expires. So, and they have, now this is beta, so they've got a few transactions showing here, but it is a real application that's currently in beta, so pretty interesting. So basically, with this guy's, I think it's a really interesting platform. I think there's a lot of potential here. I think it's a niche market that essentially isn't being, there's really little competition, if any, and it's so unique what they're doing. So they'll be able to veritize assets like real estate or maybe distressed real estate. They are going into the Jamaican Stock Exchange, so it looks like the Jamaican Stock Exchange is going to be using the Veritaseum platform to trade cryptocurrencies in Jamaican dollars, for example. So, and there's a lot that can be done with this platform. So as they grow, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they can branch out into other assets and create these baskets that normally you and I probably wouldn't have exposure to unless, again, we were on like an institutional level. So pretty interesting stuff. There's more on their website, Veritaseum.com, but I thought I would try to break it down in kind of a short, concise way that you'd understand what it is they're trying to achieve, because there's a lot of information on the system, and sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming trying to digest what all they're doing. But yeah, at the heart of it, it's a pretty interesting platform that's going to be able to allow a retail investor or average investor to get exposure to assets that normally they probably couldn't. So pretty interesting platform. Now let's look at the charts real quick. All right, so basically we've seen where we had our bear market, and then we bottomed out, and then we've come up. And for the most part, this has been pretty stable, even in so far in the month of January, where we've had some pretty wild swings. You do get an occasional misprint, spike or whatever, and then it comes back up. But for the most part, these bodies of these candles are where price has been. So it's been pretty stable. And Veri is interesting because of the supply issue on the exchange. There really isn't a whole lot. This one's going to be one I would recommend let you buy and hold, because as the platform comes out of beta and gets exposure and starts to take off, and you got to keep in mind he's going to be shopping this to hedge funds and things like that. That's where Reggie Middleton, who created this, that's his world, that's where he's from. So there's also a question of the amount of tokens that are locked up. So 2 million were released in the ICO, they're in circulation. That's why there's not a whole lot left on the exchanges. The other 98 million are basically locked up, and he will only disperse them to larger funds or people that want to acquire a large amount. So he's going to vet those people, so he's not just giving it to somebody who's just going to turn around and try and dump it on the market. They're actually going to be using the platform to gain exposure to different asset classes. Again, could be cryptocurrencies, could be foreign exchange type instruments, different currencies. Again, real estate. There's a whole array of assets that could be veritized. So so I would suggest, considering what we're looking at and the potential here, I would suggest this is more of a buy and hold than it is a swing trade type asset or crypto. So pretty interesting project. I thought hopefully that makes sense, and that kind of clarifies what it is Veritaseum is. But I think this has a tremendous amount of upside, and again, I think one to acquire some and hang on to it, because I think it's going to be worth a lot in the next coming 12 to 24 months. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. We have seen the market kind of stabilize and bottom out. I think there's a good possibility that the bottom is in on Bitcoin and the entire crypto space as a whole. So we'll be looking to kind of start putting the bottom in, turning up, and then I think February, March, we're going to start seeing probably attack on the all-time highs for not only Bitcoin but the entire market cap of crypto. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you like what we're doing. That helps us a bunch, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.